Prepared and aware. Let me start with sports. When I was playing sports, I would always make sure that my bag was packed with everything that I needed, backup stuff, and that was the night before. And then I would double check before I rested for the night, and then I would check again in the morning. Be prepared and aware. I was aware that I had a game. I was aware of the things that I needed, so I prepared for that. So this is a case of being proactive rather than reactive, and not getting stuck with things at times that it's too late to do anything about. So prepared and aware says that if you are aware that you are going into a certain undertaking, then you want to be prepared for that. One of the other things that's definitely huge for a lot of people is like with your kids, having backpacks ready, having lunches packed, having all the things that we know our kids to have forgotten at one point or another, which is homework, pencils, any sort of supplies. Have all those things packed. As a matter of fact, it's best to have them pack it as well as a responsibility building tool before they go to bed. And that way in the morning, everything's set by the door, it's ready to go. Same thing you would laying out clothes or anything else, where you can make your day more efficient and less stressful by just going through those steps ahead of time. Definitely prepared and aware when you're talking about the people you deal with. If you know that you deal with a certain type, whether you choose to or have to through school, work, it's a neighbor, anything, if you know what you're dealing with, be prepared, because you are already aware of what kind of person you're dealing with, whether that's good, bad, or indifferent. Sometimes you are just put in a position to match somebody's energy, and it doesn't mean you have to match it to the worst or to the best. It just means that you understand what you are dealing with, as far as being, again, prepared and aware that that neighbor is really picky about the weeds that you guys share on the border of your property line, or that they are an extremely talkative and gossipy, or just they want to be a good neighbor. They're really outgoing, but that energy can be a little over the top sometimes. So be prepared that you have possibly an exit strategy, or just a rebuttal or a retort to that neighbor who's being a little too picky. Sometimes that's all that it takes. If you can be steps ahead, and this is where I really tell people something like the game of chess is really good, because it allows you and trains the brain to see moves ahead, and sometimes manipulation, not in the worst sense of the word, but just in the way of being able to say, I can move these pieces and allow other things to happen rather than just wait. So again, being proactive rather than reactive. Lastly, if you're talking about dating, and let's just talk health in general. Health as far as being prepared and aware, so packing proper foods for school, for your day out, for work, things like that. It allows you to be more financially efficient by having foods that you have already purchased in like a larger amount, and then being able to portion it out and then bring it to work, rather than always having to run to a convenience store, rather than having to use the vending machines. And you have healthier options when you have the choice to go to the store and find it, rather than just see what somebody has put into an electronic box, willing to take your money at possibly 2 or 3 times the rate that you would buy it in a store in a larger volume. So there's that to be said. And again, then you have better eating options. So of course, then your health improves as well, or you maintain better health where that's concerned as well. Lastly, and here's the bonus one, when you're talking about your relationships, be prepared and aware. Again, if you know that you are dealing with somebody who has particular hot buttons, if they react in a certain way, it doesn't mean you have to walk on eggshells. Possibly the prepared and aware is knowing that this is something that you should be planning an exit strategy for, that this is time to part ways with somebody, rather than have to deal with it. So if you are aware that this is how this person acts, then you should be prepared that it's possibly time to leave, and seek help in doing so in a lot of cases. Lastly, where health is concerned, so we want to go over mind, body, and soul. So I'd like to think that being prepared allows that you have a peace about yourself, and even in the moment, that awareness allows you to not have to succumb to go into a lesser representation of yourself. You want to always have that best representation. So we've talked about the physical, the mental, and a bit of the spiritual. It's a little bit harder on that end, but again, just knowing that this is our life, and how can I get up and go out in the world and prepare for it the best way possible. The bonus, dating and sex. Be prepared with your own contraceptives. Be prepared with your own things that are going to ensure that you don't end up with one of two things, a disease or a child. Because especially if it's casual, which I'm not here to say whether you should or shouldn't, but if it's casual, that means you're really not connected to that person, and you really don't know what that person either has or would do in the wake of you having to co-parent. So you really want to be cautious on these. And yes, again, bring in your own, again, birth control, protection. And when I say protection, don't just show up with whatever. Show up with what's going to be proven to that you've tried on some level, that it fits, it works, those sort of things, because you can still catch something or give something in the way of, a life, even with contraceptives, if not used properly. So I say all that to say, be prepared and aware. And hopefully this finds everybody in a good space, a good place of total health, mind, body, and soul. If you like the content, please, as always, subscriptions are free, as are the notifications, as are the likes. And shout out to some of you who have gone that extra step and shared some of these links on your social media. I can't tell you how much that means. That really says a lot about how you feel about the content, if you are willing to copy and paste and put it on your timeline yourself. It means a lot, and I'm humbled, I'm honored. So I will leave it at that. And always, Ace, comments, what was it, advice, comments, and experience in the comments. It all helps. Other than that, I will stop rambling at we're about 8 minutes. So I just had a lot to get out here. So guys, I will see you very soon. Peace, love, unity, solidarity.